So yeah, bear with me with it. My name is Gareth and this is Emily, and we're Serenity's founders. So I just want to start today with a bit of a quote that's kind of served us quite well over the times we've started doing what we're doing and where we're moving forward. So it's from Nelson Mandela. You've probably heard this one before. There is no passion found playing small, in the settling for a life that is less than the one you're capable of living. I think that's something that as vegans we all look at day to day. We're against so much in the world, and it's kind of served us so well that it's no matter what we're doing, we can just keep moving and moving and moving. I'm not very tech smart either. No, that one.
Yeah, we're good with animals, not technology.
So yeah, like I said, my name's Gareth. I founded Serenity back in 2023, April 2023. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. So I've been vegan for about 6.5 years now. I basically, through meeting someone and having a few conversations, I was pretty defensive around it, like probably most of us were, but I was open to the information being given to me. So it was kind of one of those things that, as we all know, when you get given the facts, you just can't argue it anymore. With that, within a few months, I pretty much went straight into activism. I did Meet the Victims. That was my first thing of activism, so it was kind of like just hit the ground running. I started doing AV and all those kind of outreaching things. And yeah, my background was more passionate about trying to bring veganism into the world in whatever kind of form we can. The idea of a sanctuary came to me. I ended up going to a few sanctuaries as you're going to seeing what this is all about. I went to Death Row Unchained and met a few of their animals. And that was the first time in my life, other than like, I guess, your dogs and cats and stuff, where I really got to like have that moment of connection with an animal. It was Aurora. I've got a beautiful photo just head to head. She's licked me head to toe, like all skin's completely gone. But yeah, that was kind of the first time. And in that moment I went, I have to do something more with my life. I went to Farm Animal Rescue next, and I saw how big a pig can actually really get. And I saw the level of attention and care you can give as well there. And Brad's been someone that I've looked up to in the way that he runs things and the way he does it and the change he creates. So in that way, it was kind of like solidified again. Down at Contented Pig, I saw Kathy down there doing it completely on her own. So that was a moment for me where I kind of went, no matter what goes on, even if you're alone, you have to just keep going, especially when you have no other options and so many beings are relying on you. And I guess from that point there, it was a couple of years of activism kind of going through, had a few personal life things go on. And then when those kind of bits petered out a little bit, it was a bit of a crossroads, which I'll touch on a bit more later on. And yeah, it was just one of those times that we kind of moved forward. But that's pretty much me in a nutshell. Yeah, I'll pass on to Emily.
So I'm Emily. I guess went plant-based in 2017. My life though was, I had no one around me who was living that lifestyle. It definitely felt like something that aligned with me. I've always had a very deep connection with all animals, and it made sense, but not having that community, not having that, I guess, inspiration to draw from made it very difficult. I did look into different forms of activism, but I feel like I was scared off a little bit. It seemed very daunting and very difficult for me at that time. And at that time, before I really knew myself and really knew my values, I was very much swayed on the opinions of others. So unfortunately, I did go back to not being vegan, and in around 2020, I actually went back to being vegan because I was like, it's undeniable, it really aligned with me. And there was a pivotal moment actually walking through the supermarket and going into the murder section and feeling the eyes of the animals. Like I could just see the eyes of the animals, I could smell the flesh, and it was just undeniable in that moment that that's what I needed to be. It actually was so profound for me and so much of a wake-up call that it actually made me leave my old life behind. I actually left a 17-year relationship and really decided that I needed to pursue my values. Animal rescue was always something that really stood out to me as being something I wanted to do, and it was 2022 I met Gareth, and our values just aligned, and I guess it just sort of made sense, the path we kind of are now on. So with regards to Gaia's, I am, I guess, sort of the networker. I run our social media, I bring on volunteers, if you've ever messaged Gaia's, more than likely you've had a conversation with me. But we do everything we do whilst working full time with children, and all of the fun things that go on with life. So
that was one of the things that Emily came on. We started it together, but Emily's role kind of has developed into that community side of things because Emily's very personable and stuff, whereas I can work in the background doing other bits and pieces. So we've found that it's been quite good to complement each other in that way. Has its challenges because we both have different ideas and different ways, but it's just having that trust that that's kind of where it's got to go, and it's always animals first is the way we kind of approach it. So So like I said earlier, the start of Gaia's Serenity, it was kind of had a bit of personal stuff going, so I had to step away from activism for 2 years. So basically, veganism for me stayed there, but I couldn't go and make a difference in the way that I really, really wanted, and I knew that I could. So that kind of ended, my personal life stuff kind of ended, and we're at a bit of a crossroads. The house we were in, the owners wanted to move back in, so they weren't going to renew the lease, and we're kind of like, we knew we were going to do the sanctuary, and it was either downsize and start saving to make it viable and prepare and do all those things, or I think it was Emily and my mum actually said, like, well, what's land worth? Like, what's it worth to rent somewhere with a bit of land? And it was just that spark of a moment of what if. And that what if became an internet search, and we were looking at a place that was going to cost like thousands of dollars a month and
like
be
5
acres. And we almost took it on, and I'm so happy we didn't, because Emily jumped on and found the place that we're at, and it was barely even just listed. So we got in there, Mum and Dad went and checked it out, and they said, oh, this is going to be good. So we just signed the lease without even seeing it. We just signed the lease and said, let's do it. And Emily and I went there, and we just went through the fence and walked down. It's a big, long driveway for those that don't know. And we stood in the middle, surrounded completely by trees and bush, and went, oh my God, the job we have in front of us to make this even viable. Like, I guess we'll have a couple of animals. And that was the kind of thing that started it. It was, we can either save and prepare, or let's just do it. And even if we save 1 or 2, it's something, it's a start. And that's really where we went, you know what, let's have a crack. So with that mentality, that's served us so well. It's jump first and swim later. It's, you know, you'll catch it. The more we've got more volunteers and support around us, we just know that this community is something that we can't falter from. It's just too much. It's too much meaning. Our animals give us so much power to just be the people we need to be, to keep rising and rising again. And that's really kind of what was the spark to get it going.
Yeah, and I just also wanted to touch on the name as well. So Gaia is sort of the goddess and, you know, carer of the earth, and then Serenity came from one of Gareth's favourite TV shows. Yeah, so it was the Serenity ship, is it?
Yeah,
from
pretty much, yeah.
Firefly.
But it was also that Serenity side of things, because that's the other aspect of Gaia's is for the community, we want it to be a sanctuary for people too. So that Mother Earth, it's their place to rest, it's their place to kind of stop, it's our place to stop. So that's where that came from. And as for the logo, that's pretty much what I kind of had in my mind when I was thinking about it. That's what I wanted, like that Mother Earth, that giving, that loving kind of side of things. We had a few floated ideas and whatnot, and then I had a friend, Johan, he's actually reached out to us and he's like, oh, I've got a guy who does artwork, let me engage him. And I was really hesitant because it's one of the things when you've got a lot of pressure, for me personally, is letting go and releasing into people and the giving that they can give. And he put us in contact with a guy and I looked at his artwork and I was like, oh, I don't know if he's the right fit. He's come on and just everything that was suggested, he's just completely put it down to paper. So I couldn't be happier with it. We've actually seen someone online has got it tattooed. We didn't get credit for it, but they've tattooed it on them. So we're kind of like, we do think that that will encapsulate everything that we're moving towards in the future as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So our animals, okay, I also just wanted to let you know that we went in with this thinking, even if we could only save 3 animals, we're making a difference. We now have 34 or 5. But we started out fostering this beautiful boy here, Nismo, our pig. We really had no idea about animals. It was one of those really like leap before you're ready. We've got the passion, we've got the conviction, and we have enough people that know enough behind us that can really help us. But Nismo really gave us an idea of the different, like the people who were caring for Nismo and needed to home him had a very different idea on pig care than I guess what we really thought people should. And so that was quite difficult because obviously he wasn't by rights a full resident. We were fostering, so we sort of had to go by their rules. As well as this, when we took Nismo on, we were told Nismo was a girl. We ran with that until one day someone said, no, Nismo's a boy, that's what that thing is in the middle of his body. So, you know, like that's how green we were, like that's the level.
We were literally wondering how they reproduce. We're going like, this just functionally doesn't seem right.
There was some, you know, quite a lengthy discussion
Pictures
around
of like
that.
missionary for pigs and stuff, it was weird.
Yeah. But yeah, so I guess that's it, you know, like we had all the passion in the world. We had, you know, the people behind us that know what we don't know, and we really rely very heavily on that. This other beautiful boy, Sparkles. Now, Sparkles is really, to me, a symbol of what, you know, people and animals can be capable of. He was a broken racehorse. He had been very successful, and his trainer basically gave him to somebody who should have known better. And Sparkles was starved to an inch of his life. He was taken on by a friend of ours, and she has a horse rescue in northern New South Wales. And we needed a friend for our beautiful boy Spirit, who was another one of our gorgeous residents. And we went down to her sanctuary to look at the animals and look at the horses and see if there would be a horse that would fit Spirit, basically. Yeah. And we were dead against getting a racehorse. We'd heard that thoroughbreds were hard work and all these things, and we were meeting some of our animals and we had carrots and apples and we were feeding them and trying to find that connection. And we went out into a paddock and we were standing there, and there were a couple of horses around and we could see Sparkles, and he, you know, he was a beautiful boy, still very, very skinny. And he came walking up to us and I thought, oh, we've got food. This is what it is. And he put his head on Gareth's chest. And I was like, oh, it's because Gareth's got apples in his pockets. And our friend said...
I bribe our animals.
And she said, no, he's never had an apple or a carrot in his life. He's a racehorse. They don't feed them that. If he had one, he'd choke. He doesn't know what that is. So much of Spirit, he chose us. I've hands down have no doubt that that's what happened. And our beautiful boy Spirit is so he's just an amazing horse, and we just thought they're going to be perfect. And
they're
kind
like
of
brothers now, yeah.
Yeah, they're like frenemies. Like they've got a love-hate relationship, but it's mainly love.
Unless there's food.
Yeah, but yeah, he was a perfect pick. So as soon as he was well enough to be floated, he came to us, and he gets to live out his days galloping through fields, and absolutely beautiful to watch. And then Picnic.
So I'm not sure if any of you guys know Picnic, a little bit of a celebrity in her own way, I guess. So her story's unfortunately not unique. It is very, very common in the world. She was with a guy as a piglet. He's raised a mini pig situation. He had her and her friend Pepper, between his friend as well, in like an apartment. So it was absolutely wild, but very, very loved. Like she's the most loved pig you'll ever meet. He comes out to us now, he volunteers and he stays with us. And he'll bring the beanbag and lie down with her at night time and cuddle her to that level. So very, very loved, but he did recognise that they can't be apartments. Like they need to be out, they need to be doing things. So him and his friend took the energy to try and find a good place for him, found a family, and it was rehome as a companion, not breeding, not anything like that. And unfortunately, they promised the world and they did the exact opposite. Pretty much straight away, they were used for breeding. He got wind of it online and basically went, oh my God, that's my girls. I want to rescue him. So he asked to buy him back. He gave him to him. He paid them to take him, to look after him. He asked to buy him back and said, I want to get them out. That's not what they're for. They basically gaslighted him. Nah, not true. It's all a scam. That's not what happened. And yeah, he was at his wit's ends. He reached out to us, and at the time we couldn't really offer much support. And he just held that candle for them, knowing that he's got to do something. And then the capacity came up for us to help. And it was one of those times that it's like, okay, how are we going to do this? And I was like, let us come in, we can help. I'll try and bridge the gap between breeder and him at the moment, because they had a lot of conflict. So I'm like, I'm trying to come in, be the good Samaritan. They weren't interested. They had no idea. They just didn't care. Luckily, a woman reached out to him and said, I think I've got your pigs, because he went on social media. I think I've got your pigs. You can have them. Basically, she'd sell them to him because she did pay for them. So the photo showed that it was his 2 pigs. We were there. We went out and we got them. Got home and we're like, oh, here's your pigs. He came out. And Picnic wasn't Picnic. Picnic was Indy. So we were kind of shocked by that. We're like, who the hell is this pig and what's going to happen? We reached back out trying to go, okay, where is Picnic? What's going on with Picnic? And I did say to Dan at the time, because it's basically we went down fraud ways, we went down legal side, we went all these kind of avenues. And I'm like, we can't release Indy to save Picnic. It's just not going to be a thing we can give up once we take in. And we just went over and over trying to get these pigs back. He reached out to a current affair, like he was that desperate, and a current affair actually picked up the story because they thought, here's a good story. So they came out, they did some filming, and it was, where is Picnic? We're going to get onto these breeders, we're going to like really hassle them, where the hell's this pig? And because the tennis was on, the news story got delayed, and I think in hindsight, that's probably one of the best things.
Well, actually, you've missed a part there. We actually did manage to get Picnic before the news story aired.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. So because the news story, we got filmed and everything before it got released, the tennis was on, so that kind of held the story back. And then through that time, we saw another post from them in their community, because they're out whoop whoop, basically looking for homes for some piglets because mums rejected them. And we just knew that was Picnic. That had to be Picnic, something's going on. So we found the husband's details, reached out to him and we're like, mate, what's it going to take to make this happen? He came back and he's like, look, $5,000 and you can have her. As an animal sanctuary, we're like, well, we have so many animals to care for already. That's not in our budget at all. Dan fronted the bill straight up. He was like, yep, let's do it. I need my girl back. So I facilitated it. I went out to Toowoomba and met him at the RSPCA out there. It was like a ransom. It was insane. It was, you got the money, like I want to count it, all these. It was absolutely like a ransom. Got her over, got her home, and to see Dan connect with her and reconnect with her is just one of the most beautiful moments of my life.
And he's actually gone vegan. So he stopped eating pigs after having Picnic and Pepper, but after coming out to our sanctuary, and he does a lot of photography for us, and having that opportunity to connect with our other animals. I remember him having a bit of a discussion with us about, I've been thinking about going vegan, and we're like, well, hey, like, we'll never push you into anything, but do it. And yeah, he hasn't looked back, and he's been very vocal. It's quite interesting when we tell people, look, he's only been vegan since December, and they're like, wow, like, he's so out there with it. And it's just amazing, that power of animal connection and how it can really shift people.
Yeah, so that's pretty much Picnic's story, and now she is probably the most cuddly pig. Other ones will rub up against you, but she just comes up, puts her nose on you, and she just wants to be close. She's absolutely gorgeous animal.
So
yeah,
gentle.
We're very lucky to have her.
So we can't do what we do without our beautiful volunteers. And pretty early on, we had a pretty cemented group of people that came out and helped us with fencing and
Bribe friends and family.
Bribing them with scones and whatnot. And when we first started out, though, it was really Gareth and I and Gareth's parents. They lived on the sanctuary with us. And basically, because our lives are so complex and we both work, I study full time as well, and we have children, Gareth's parents did a lot more than really people of their age and should really be doing. And, you know, every time it'd be like, oh, look, this animal's up for rescue, like, can we get them? And they'd be like, okay, knowing that we've just added another mouth to feed and another, you know, level of complexity with all the things that our beautiful animals bring. But we also started to, I guess, grow our group of volunteers, and eventually we realised that as we started to expand, the level of what we needed, it just became too much for, I guess, Kaz and Len to handle. Yeah,
and also that it's kind of selfish for us to have these guys here in our lives and not share them with everyone else.
Yeah.
So that's when we did start opening the doors and bringing it. Started with friends and family, and then friends of friends, and now we're kind of being more public with it, because it's just something that we want it to be community based. We want it to be a movement in itself. Yeah.
And you know, so many beautiful people have, you know, joined us, and it's been amazing. And special shout out to Josh now, who's our filming and video guy. Because Kaz and Len needed to, you know, sort of do their thing and kind of have a bit more space to themselves, which is completely understandable. And Josh was in a position to be able to move out. And he deals with our day-to-day running and feeding our animals and the medical treatments and, you know, vet liaison, and works with our, you know, growing number of weekday volunteers who come out. And he has been
an absolute godsend.
Yeah.
Because Emily, just another thing, Emily lives half in Brisbane, half on the Gold Coast. I work away 3 days a week, and the other days I run my own business as well. So it's pretty much non-stop that way. So Josh coming on board has just been a breath of fresh air that's allowed us to refocus where we need to and stop being in survival mode. Because every time we take an animal, it's like kind of bushfire. It's like, oh my God, we've got to get these guys in, and we've got to give them home, and we've got to give them sanctuary. So Josh has just been a breath of fresh air to allow us to catch up and give those guys the love and attention that they really, really need.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another notable volunteer, I guess, is our friend Coco. She reached out on social media and then met us at last year's expo. She came up and introduced herself, and then she's a cop. And we're going, oh my God, an animal sanctuary and a cop. Like, we don't want this. Very, very passionate, had dealt with horses before. She was honest. And now those who know Coco know how intense Coco can be.
Hardest worker in the room.
Yeah. So I was so hesitant. I guess from an activism point of view, I've always been good with the law. I have had fines and stuff, but I have been good with them, especially through organising events. But yeah, I know how hard it can be and where their hands are tied too. Some of our animals, they're all legal, they're all above board, but they come from situations that navigate with complexity. So that's what we've got to look at, and we just don't want fingers being pointed to make life harder than it needs to be. She just kept at us, and we got to a point where Mum and Dad were kind of really struggling because they're elderly, and we had more and more animals because it's just get me on the right day and we'll rescue. And I kind of went, okay, we need help. So Coco came on board, and throughout that side of things, we really got to know her as the person she is. She stepped up for Mum and Dad when they couldn't do it. She suffers through her work PTSD quite dramatically. She sees a lot of animal abuse in what she does. And she said to us, like, there's been times where she doesn't want to go home. All she wants to do is come and be with the animals. She's helped rescue Grace, who was wandering out in Jimboomba. So she facilitated all of that herself. So that's her baby in that way. But Coco really showed us the level of support that people need and the level that the animals can have that connection. It gives back to them, it gives back to the volunteers. And yeah, she's just been amazing as well.
She was actually inspiration for me as well, because I finished my postgrad in communications in November 2023 and was thinking I want to do further study. Watching Coco connecting with our animals and the level of therapy it gave her actually inspired me to then go on and study. So I'm now studying my master's in counselling and psychotherapy. Because I can see the power of what we have and what that's given to people like Coco, and that she can come out after a hard day of doing what she has to do and sort of de-stress. And I guess that in a sense is my vision for, you know, what I see is possible. Obviously, animals are always the centre, and it's a collaborative you know, it's collaboration with people and animals. But yeah, very much inspired by Coco as to what's possible in that animal space.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing that we've also noticed, and a lot from our volunteers have said, is living with a mindset of an act of service. So giving without the intention of receiving is something we try and do a lot of. And we can see that with our volunteers. They come and they give and they give and they give, and we could be waking up after no sleep at night, got to do the fruit run at 5 in the morning so we can sort veggies, and they just show up and take that and hold that. So without our volunteers, we just can't get to the level we're at even, or even maintain where we're at anymore, which is scary in itself, that you are reliant. It teaches you to be a community. That's probably the big thing.
Yeah. So, you know, next slide.
I'm being prompted.
Yeah, you are, because I'm looking at the time and I'm like, Gareth.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we'll run through these ones because we don't want to be too down, but with the beauty of a sanctuary comes the hard parts too. Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Benny and Fifi came to us from another sanctuary. She couldn't keep them, so she raised them from the milk industry, and she raised them from very little. They were very sickly. She rehomed them. That didn't work out. She put out the call, and we took in 2 cows. Weren't set up, still don't even have the fencing for it. They like to they pushed it over whenever they needed to and went wherever they needed to. Benny got sick and we didn't know what was going on. So we looked around, found vets, we asked the questions, and unfortunately we learned through that no matter what needs to be done, we can do it. And he ended up having a big cyst on his belly, and we were talking about surgery, and the vet was like, oh, it's a really complex surgery and it might cost 20 grand. And we're like, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Do what he needs. And it was through that unfortunately Benny, we feel, made the decision that it was time and it had to happen. So he was our first loss, and he could cuddle you like no animal you've ever had. He would wrap his head around you, and yeah. Pepper was another one, so she was a picnics friend. She's got a love-hate relationship with me. I'm like, she wants to tear me to pieces, and then 2 seconds later she's trying to mount me. It's insane. And yeah, she's just temperamental. But she was the first rescue with Indy. We weren't sure if she was pregnant. She was advertised that she could possibly be pregnant, we got her and we didn't know what was going on. She was starting to nest. We're going, okay, we're seeing signs here. This is happening. And I don't know if any of you know this, but pigs can have up to 14 piglets. So at the time, we're looking at 14 from Pepper, possibly 14 from Picnic. So,
or Indy, yeah.
Yeah, or Indy as well. So Indy was another one that we went, is she pregnant or not?
Yeah.
So one night I came out and I rang Emily and I was like, oh my God, there's a piglet. Like, what the hell? So once again, very, very passionate people, don't know what we're doing, rely heavily on our vets and our support network.
Midwifery at 12 a.m. Like, it was insane.
So ringing our vet at night time going, holy crap, this is happening. She's in labour. It was like...
Can I also add that the whole point was if she had piglets, Gareth was very much like, we're going to, we'll rehome. As Pepper's giving birth, he's like, it's okay, baby, you're all going to stay with us. Like, it's going to be fine. And I'm sitting there like, are you crazy? Like, we've just said we're at capacity. We've taken on 2 more. But anyway, yeah.
Capacity is never capacity.
Yeah, there's always room.
Yeah. So, so she's giving birth. We did unfortunately have 1 miscarriage, but normally it's like 15 minutes. Everyone's popping out, and then slows down. And we're going, okay, we really need vet intervention here. So her and I got quite personal. You can feel inside for more. And then the vet and her got even more personal because she had to go deeper. 3 piglets were born and absolutely gorgeous. They're stunning. They're the cutest piglets. So that was kind of those roll with the punches, expect the unexpected, and just take it for what it is. So it has been a godsend. They've been absolutely gorgeous. As for Preston, he's very raw. He's only a couple of weeks ago as well. So Preston unfortunately taught us how quickly things can change and how quickly things can go down. Woke up a couple of weeks ago in the morning and he was down, and by night we were euthanizing. It was that quick. So yeah, he's just...
Yeah, we got the 2 mini horses. The plan with the mini horses was, we were never going to have horses as well, guys, but you take who needs it. And the mini horses was, we were going to have them to kind of rehome them straight away, but they came to us with
laminitis.
Really severe laminitis that had been well and truly downplayed. And when we knew the extent of it, we knew that they were going to be residents. So we did everything we could. We spared no expense, but unfortunately...
And that's the hard part is, it does happen, and unfortunately you just got to keep going, and I guess we'll have to rush through this because we are longer than I thought. I thought, how the hell are we going to fill 45 minutes?
How are we going to do 45? I was like, we've got a lot to talk about.
So I guess quickly on that side of things, because it's very, very complex where we're going, the sanctuary is the giving back without the expectation of receiving anything. The vision for the future, it's obviously we're going to want a bigger property. Bigger property allows more community base, allows more social events, allows more animals, which is the ultimate goal. Looking towards financial stability. So donations are great.
At the moment, we're very much self-funded.
Very self-funded. Everything that I earn goes into it. So we're still building that donation and that support network. Takes a long time, and especially talking to other sanctuaries, and everyone's hurting. So it's something we're looking at, how to diversify income, different ways to bring money in that can be more sustainable. Giving back to the community, social programs, people with mental health challenges, would love to work with those, the NDIS side of things, children, teenagers at risk, and then bring the vegan awareness. We always say the animals are little ambassadors on their terms. So, and
we welcome non-vegan volunteers. We're very strict on that, though. We've got very, very strong boundaries around the fact that you are coming into a vegan sanctuary. We are a vegan community. We are a safe space for vegans, and we have had one non-vegan volunteer who was very, she was very forthright, and she explained to me, look, I'm not vegan, I don't eat pigs, but I do everything else. And she's been one of our most consistent volunteers since she started, and I'm happy to report she's also vegan now. So yeah, it definitely bringing people on and showing them what's possible certainly does work. And there was never any pressure from us.
And that was one thing, is it was always
we accept you who you are,
Yeah.
but you know, you are
The
aware that
conversations
this is...
might happen as long as they're respectful in both ways. That's how we kind of wanted to maintain it. So yeah, it's been good to see that impact that the sanctuary can have as well, and the community we have within the sanctuary. So yeah, actually we worked out perfectly for the 5-minute time. So
yes, there we
questions and stuff like that, if anyone's got any? Yeah? Yeah.
Do you sort of see, like, for example, in the Brisbane area, we've got the big guys already, like you coming up and being one of those big guys, but then all of you getting bigger and being able to take more? Do you see that as the most sustainable model?
I'll take that. So everyone heard that question? So yep. The way we look at it, and every time we've communicated with any of the sanctuaries around us, is we want to come from a place of abundance. I truly believe that if we come from that place and we're not in competition, there will be enough. As we develop, and the need for sanctuary is always there, but as more and more sanctuaries come on board, more and more people are going to see what's going on and make the change to be vegan. So the aspect of having too many sanctuaries, there won't be. I know what you're saying with the donations and stuff, and that's where we can diversify. But with other sanctuaries, we're linking up in the way that we can help support each other. Because if you come from that place of abundance and giving without receiving, I truly do believe there'll be enough. And more people will probably want to come on board and support that side of things. That's another aspect of what we're doing, is how we can bring animal food out to people at a rate that's better for it. So vegan dogs, we're starting to sell vegan dog food at a cheaper rate, because for us it's not just about making money to support the sanctuary, it's about getting dogs to be vegan, it's about getting that product out there. So,
and yeah, because Gareth has his own business, he does have a very entrepreneurial mindset, which I feel holds us in quite good stead, because he's always looking at things from a critical point of view, is what is our point of difference and how can we make that impact but still be collaborative at the same time.
yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah.
Anyone? Yeah?
What are your volunteer opportunities?
So volunteer opportunities, that's one we get quite often. As all our volunteers know, I don't have insurance. So when you come out, your life is in your hands. Anytime anything, we've tried that too, and then the wind blows it and the animals like to mess it around. So volunteer opportunities. Every Saturday between 8 and 11, we're open to volunteers. We have been asking people to come and meet us and stuff like that on those days if they want to do weekday volunteers. But very much, if people want to come, Saturday's the time you can come sporadically. So reach out to us, let us know.
Yeah.
If you want to be a weekday volunteer, reach out, because we are always looking for it. The more help Josh can have during the week, the more we can focus on other avenues, shelter building. Like I said, sometimes it's bushfires, it's getting shelter up so we can just have something there for them. So yeah, we welcome volunteers as much as possible.
So if you are interested, either reach out via Facebook or Instagram, and we'll chat.
Yeah. Anyone else? Yes.
I wanted to ask, with the professional people who are better skilled at pigs who are helping you, so were they the ones who also falsely recognised a pig as a girl when they were a boy?
Oh no. No.
So that was their owners, owner, their carer, I
his
guess.
owner,
Came to us, and like I said, we didn't know pigs at all either. So they just believed Nismo was a girl, and we're like, okay, yeah, let's run with it. So no, it wasn't them. We surround ourselves with very, very intelligent people that know the animals.
Yeah.
So about the $5,000 price for picnic, was that done on purpose by the breeder because the breeder knew that the man wouldn't want that?
Yeah. And the level, so the conflict between the breeder and the guy, it was quite dramatic. He posted in their community, so the whole community turned against this family. So rightfully so, in my opinion. It made it very, very standoffish. So that's where I tried to bridge that gap. He had already proposed that $5,000 side of things. So I think that's where the dollar figure came up. It was through that negotiation I tried to say, hey, look, it was coming from us. We're an animal sanctuary, have a bit of heart, help us out here. That's a big dollar figure. And he's like, nah, go away, you're just wasting my time, that's it. So I'm like, no, let's make this happen. But yeah, it was one thing that Dan, he just he had nothing to his name, so it really did hurt him at the time financially. But yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't eating, he wasn't sleeping. Like he felt so bad that he thought he'd done the right thing. But that's the thing, and I guess that's if anyone ever needs to rehome an animal, you really do need to do due diligence because you just don't know where that animal's going to.
What was the name of the 3 piglets?
Oh.
So we've got, no, not at all. So we've got Hope. He was the little one that got stood on by Mum, so he's my favourite. Hope, Poppy, and Snuffles. So yeah, Snuffles is our black boy, and Poppy was named by Michelle at the back here. So yeah.
She won a raffle
Yes.
to name him.
I guess we're pretty much out of time, so I just want to share one more thing. Obviously the last few weeks have been quite hard with us for Preston's sake. So with that, Emily and I don't always get to be with each other because I work away and she's in Brisbane and stuff. So that connection can be hard, and sometimes you go through the things on your own. And Emily was struggling and we both were. It's like, oh my God, why do we pick this life? Like, how did this come to us? We could have such an easy, simple life. Like, it really is those things. And Emily said, oh, but would be bored. So this is a bit of my message. It's probably changed a little bit here and there. Michelle will call me out for it. She got to read it as well. So it's changed a little bit, but this was pretty much my message to Emily to try and keep us back on track and fill that cup at the time. So my reply was, I would be very content with a simple life, but embarking on a vegan journey that makes a real difference, especially for our animal family, is a privilege we can never lose sight of. When we really think about it, and this does apply to all of us here, we are part of a tiny handful of people in all of history who have chosen to live in a way that refuses to exploit animals. Statistically speaking, we are so rare in the world that the world is still in shock and we exist and we stand for this. We're all pioneers, we're all leaders, we're guides helping to build a kinder, more compassionate world for everyone in it. The difficult days we experience should only serve to fuel us, helping us to rise to the purpose we have chosen in life and gifting the chance for others with courage to come with us on this journey. Our destination will never truly be reached because there is no finish line for the spreading of love and justice in the world. We are deeply honoured to be on this vegan journey with you, and we're emboldened every day by the people around us and by the incredible community and the animals whose lives we fight to protect. Thank you.